You are now being recorded, by the way. I will now hand over to the clerk to read out a list of apologies.
I've received apologies from Councillor Haxby, who's on holiday, Councillor Glanville, who's sick, and Councillor Bosenworth, who's got family matters.
Do we all accept those apologies? Thank you. Number 2, declarations of interest. Council to receive any declarations of interest in accordance with the requirements of the Localism Act 2011 and to consider any applications for dispensations in relation to disclosable, pecuniary interests or personal interests. Are there any? This is for councillors of the family. No? If you do come across one later on, please say so just before we go into that part. We move on then. Public participation time. Members of the public are allowed 15 minutes is available to members of the public to speak. Now, depending on how many of you want to speak, that will take the 15 minutes up. It's 15 minutes overall. Okay. Are there any members of the public wish to speak? Yes. Can you state your name, please?
I can.
For the record.
My name's Sheila Sutcliffe. Do you want me to say what I want?
Yes, please.
Okay. There's been a discussion on social media regarding leisure facilities in Filey, and I wondered what the council's plans are to provide leisure facilities in Filey.
Right, thank you for that. We've been looking into this for a long time with leisure facilities, and we've tried with Scarborough Borough Council to back us on many occasions, and unfortunately we've been let down in some way. But yes, we are looking for leisure facilities in Filey. There is one possibility of Eber Academy. Okay, but that is at the moment, that is ongoing.
But when you say Academy, what are you hoping to
That's the top school.
I don't know where it is, but I'm just wondering what you want to be able to provide.
Well, first of all, we're hoping for a leisure centre with accommodation in it for keep fit, anything like that type of thing. There's a football pitch going up as well.
At the school?
Up at the school, yes, which the school will use, and any member of the public should be able to use that when they aren't using it, put it that way.
So
and there's also, in the books, on the cards, is a centre up near the Mugger, thank you, Councillor Shackleton, for a skateboard park. Now that at the moment is in limbo at the moment. We're waiting to try to get enough money in the pot to actually get on with that. The police are involved with that and so many other people. I think Councillor Shackleton might be able to improve on that one.
I think that should go to Councillor Meek, who's actually chair of
Councillor Meek.
Skate Park Group.
Well, we're still waiting. A lady from work, groundwork, is getting out, trying to get the funding in. Still waiting for 3 contracts coming in, see which is the cheapest, which we're going to take on, and until we can get them on, we hopefully start fundraising. So,
can I just ask you, the place that you have allocated for the skate park, is there any problem with the actual place that you've chosen?
well, the place we'd like is next door to the Mugger, that has still got to be decided by Scarborough Borough Council.
And how long has Scarborough Borough Council been working?
Quite a while, with all lettering. Yeah, we on that one, we can talk about.
The position is at the moment, it's the skate park group now, to get a business plan together, get these three quotes in, and also who's going to maintain it and insure it. And once we've got all that in place, we're going to take this package to Scarborough Borough Council and say, look, this is what we're hoping to do, and let's get it arranged. And they're already agreed in principle to what's happening around that. But obviously it has to go in front of Scarborough Borough Council. I presume it'll be cabinet and then it members. And as soon as we've got all that package in place, you know, hopefully we'll move forward with it fairly quickly, providing we get funding, which is always difficult because there's that many people looking for it.
Should I come back to you?
Councillor Cockle might be able to...
Let's just look at this.
No, it's okay, because I was going to go back to something else. If you've something to say.
Right, well, I was going to ask you, Mr Mayor, what you mean by the Borough Council's let you down about leisure facilities, because we're actually putting more money into the EBO, £330,000 which we've allocated. So I'd like an explanation to your statement, please.
Well, on numerous occasions, way back since when Scarborough Borough Council have let us down on facilities for a standalone fitness suite, for a standalone thing, away from there. They've put one up themselves at Hackness up there. They've done this, they've done that in Scarborough, but they seem to forget that Filey, we have quite a few elderly people in Filey, and a fitness suite for them would be absolutely ace.
Yeah, and that is why we are working hopefully with the Town Council and EBO to get one up at EBO, and that's why we're committing almost £250,000.
Thank you for that, Councillor Cockle.
So I think you ought to be careful what you say.
And you, Councillor Cockle. Councillor Anthony.
I think the last time when we heard from the new head at EBO, who didn't seem to have any idea what was going on, this is something that's going to be long term if it gets done at all. I think the question that Sheila was asking was more about what are we as a council actually doing, because the people of Filey are not going to be using that facility much because the kids are going to be in there all day. It's going to be mainly an evening and weekend thing. And the facilities are not what you would call full facilities, I don't believe.
Right.
Sorry, Councillor.
Anthony.
You finished.
Yeah.
Can we come back to you regarding the new EBO Academy? I know, I'm looking, talking as fast as I can. When they did Mill Meadows, when they built Mill Meadows, there was something said then about somebody coming from the builders to do something at the school. Did anything ever come of that?
What I can make out, they're supposed to be putting a children's play area up at Mill Meadows, which is now up there.
And that's all they promised, isn't it?
Well, no. Councillor Shackleton, you know.
I believe they also arranged to renew some cladding
Right.
on the building.
Was that the swimming pool they were going to do?
It possibly could have been, I just can't.
Yeah, I was thinking there was something said about the pool. And this is, I'm going to talk faster. This is one of the things that came up on social media, the fact that we in Filey haven't got a swimming pool. We've got tots and we've got people up to the hundreds that can all take advantage of a swimming pool, whether it's for rehabilitation or for anything. I think it's really, really poor that it's really poor that we haven't got a swimming facility. And the other thing I'd like to bring up as well, so 18 months ago, Filey residents got a questionnaire saying what did we want, and in big letters it said you can't have a swimming pool. Now that to me is a terrible thing to do. We're all ratepayers, and a swimming pool is a basic facility. Is that the end of the 15 minutes?
Right. I'm going to have to cut you off there, because you've had that 5 minutes more, in case somebody else wants,
Right,
the
okay.
public wants to
Well, thank
speak.
you for
But
listening.
Councillor Wilkie just wants to come in.
Yeah, just going back to the swimming pool and the money from the builders,
Yeah.
and Councillor Cockle, correct me if I'm wrong, it was the 106 money, am I right?
Yes.
Councillor
Yeah.
Cockle, that then got withdrawn by the developer, am I right in saying that? So there was money there, then that got withdrawn, so then that couldn't take place. But that was all in the throes of when the swimming pool was, are we going to keep it, are we going to save it, are we not?
And what's happening with the swimming pool is still...
The swimming pool is filled in.
Yeah, this is my last word on this. We need a swimming pool in Fire.
We totally agree.
Councillor Wright.
Can I point out, Sheila, that the Fire Council and Scarborough fought for this. It was a North Yorkshire Council's decision. The boiler had gone, they didn't want to replace the boiler, they said it wanted so many repairs and it couldn't be repaired.
It was a very old building.
It was a very old building, but people in Fire was extremely upset because they had put the money to it themselves and built this, and I think this is why on social media people feel really hard done to. But it was a North Yorkshire County Council. You must never forget that here we are 3 authorities: North Yorkshire County Council, Scarborough Borough Council and Filey Town Council. And unfortunately these do tend to come at the bottom.
And we shouldn't do.
No.
If we haven't got a swimming pool, we need it.
I'm not being derogatory to Filey Town Council, but it's having the money and the
Yeah, but we're part
ability.
of, sorry, Marion, we're part of Scarborough Council. How many facilities have they got in Scarborough? You know, the people in the town haven't got very much money, haven't got
Yeah.
cars, they've got young children, we can't afford to take them to Blue Dolphin or wherever to do the swimming. It's just not acceptable.
I agree with you.
I agree.
I agree with you, but
I mean, if we're all in agreement, what are we going to do about it?
that's right.
What are we going to do about it? Can Scarborough Council help?
Quoting the, can I say, the regulation of it is not the responsibility of this borough council to provide that facility.
So who's going to do it?
I don't think it's anybody, quite honestly. Nobody has that obligation to provide.
But they might have the obligation.
I would just say to the fact, Sheila, I totally agree. That's the legal side. The moral side, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Everybody should be working towards it.
Well, why aren't we? Can anybody give me an answer? Why aren't we working together?
Can I just bring
It's all right saying
Councillor...
doing this and saying it's
That-
money,
it is.
but there's so much money being spent in Scarborough with the Alpamara and the Open and this and
That's
this.
right.
Well, we need to get something into Fire. I mean,
Can I just stop you there? Councillor Shackleton.
Yeah, there's no doubt that swimming pool would be lovely for the residents and for the children. But we've also got to understand that they are one of the most expensive leisure facilities to maintain and sustain. The borough, I'm sure, will be, finding it as difficult to come up with money to keep these things sustainable. But they're quite lucky because they have partners involved in these matters. And they're also prepared for a 9 million or whatever, to fund these things. We as a small council.
but should we be making waves? Should it be, making it known that, the council wants it and other people want it? We need this leisure facility. And can we not put it out there to the people, to the Fire, that yes, we're in agreement, but what can we do?
I certainly agree with you, Sheila, and as a council, I am aware that this council has been fighting for a facility since they built Deeply, which was more or less promised
But then,
as a leisure.
but this is what the public need to know, this is what the Fire residents need to know. And regarding the skate park, we need to know that this is in the pipeline, so that they know that we're actually, you're actually doing something towards it.
Well, I think the skate park has gone out on social media. I think a lot of residents are aware now.
Well, the conversation that was going on a few weeks ago was from all ages, and I think it might be helpful if you could put something else out, know, just to let them know.
It's also difficult to put things out when you can't give them anything definite.
No, but you don't have to give them something definite, you just have to say to them, this is where we are at the moment. They just need information. And I do really think that regarding the swimming pool or other facilities, as a council, you should be saying, yes, we do want this, we do want to support it. Because there could be people out there that are builders or whatever, that we might come together and do something. If you don't mention it, we're not going to get anywhere. It needs to be mentioned in case somebody's able to pick up on it somewhere. Thank you.
Right, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other members of the public listening?
I
Is
was
there
wanting to
any...
give you some information.
Councillor Cockrell then, if you want to give some information, please do.
Right, thank you. Yes, it was mentioned about Mill Meadows and whether they were contributing to anything. And as Kevin said, they were willing to contribute to the recladding of the pool as it was then. Because of the demise of that, that was withdrawn. And as on best recollection, the developers of Mill Meadows had to give about £55,000 to the surgery, and I think it's just over 30,000 to the Education Authority, and it is entirely to the Education Authority where money was or is to be spent.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Cockrell. Is there any other members of the public wish to speak, please? This is your only chance you'll get to speak this evening, so is there any other members? No? Thank you then. We'll carry on. North Yorkshire Police Report. I hope you have had a chance to read the report. DC Walton?
Council. I'm PC Walton from your Safe and Able to Stay based in private police station. There is an apology on your report that you've got. I know there's no crime figures on there. That apology still stands, unfortunately. We've just migrated into a new system. The only figures we would have been able to give you was the past 30 days, which would mean we wouldn't be able to compare it to the years previous, so it would have been very sort of lax, unfortunately. That is to be rectified. They are ongoing with that at this moment in time, with the systems in place. Has everyone got a copy of the report that is there anything that anyone would like to discuss anything on the report?
Any questions? No. No? Councillor Meek.
The new system, States Bid, which will be available shortly, what, any length of time?
I would hope for the next council report. I know that they are ongoing with that. We've got the same problem. It's not just the Filey Town Council, it's throughout. We've got Humberbees, we've got everyone else's that we have to get those figures for, and we are ongoing with it.
Well, we do have a CAP meeting coming up, so
Yes.
speak to, put her on the spot.
Yeah, our Chief Constable will be with you. That is one for her. But yeah, I'll forward that on to the sergeant to bring up to.
Right, is there any more questions for PC Walton?
Yeah, just to respond to that a month ago. I did report the state of bottom of West Road relating to various sort of, well, anti-refugee people that can't read signs. Now, was it okay, Richard, the lady who came out of her name now?
When?
Well, 2 months ago it will be.
It was the Council Swires.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
From the police?
Yeah,
Oh, the police.
yeah.
It was,
Sergeant Mason?
yes.
Yeah. And we're going to look at this going back, because this is something that is, I know we have this trouble from time to time, because we can't read the fact that it's a one-way system. But there was some question about, one of the problems is the lighting, is it in the right position, and is the signage in the right position. Now, she's going to have a look at that and report back to me personally, on account of our listening, and nothing's ever come back about it. But we are still having the same situation whereby they cannot read, particularly parents coming out from school who've been looking for it.
I'll forward that on to Secretary. Are you attending on the meeting on the 23rd?
Probably not, no, I might not be. I'm sorry, I've got family treatment in the background, so I don't know what I'm doing at the minute.
Right, okay. If she's able to give an update at that meeting, will that be forwarded on?
Yeah,
via
yeah,
email?
pass it on, that's not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Right, thank you. Have you got anything else on that, Councillor Godfrey?
No, as I say, it's just what I wanted to see if there was any way at all of improving it. Because it may well be that they're not positioned correctly, and that isn't my job, that's traffic, yeah.
Yeah, it would probably come down to highways more than it would,
Yeah.
to be fair, but
Well,
if
whoever
she
it
liaises with whoever, then
Yeah.
she'll have that update for you, unfortunately. Okay. The only addition that I've got in terms of the parish council report that's been on there for the last couple of weeks is the theft at St Oswald's Church. I don't know if you've been paying close attention to that. As of Friday, it's myself that's been dealing with that case, and as of Friday of this week, I can confirm that the female that's been arrested and detained over that has been summoned to court. She will be appearing at Scarborough Magistrates in January for a number of theft offences, so she has been charged to court.
Councillor Roderick, have you not picked your iPad up yet?
My iPad has gone and moved again. If you will not charge, you could have get it back tomorrow morning. I put it on this morning and 6:30, I got 10% on it. I've tried it on another charger to see if it's the charger, not the
Right.
If it is the charger, then I've got to pay it. But if it's the iPad, you should get it tomorrow morning.
Right, can you bring it back in so the clerk can
Yeah.
actually speak to it for you, and then we won't have any problem with you reading any minutes or anything like
Yeah.
that on that.
I've got any...
Councillor Wright?
We don't make the minutes.
I can't provide those for you if you need.
Yeah.
You also can to me. You're not paying right. You're not back there. All right, then.
We'll just have to wait a minute now until the clerk can start.
No, I should have, as I say, I went from it. I took it off the thing, and I put it on the charge on it. I thought, okay, it will work.
In future, Councillor Roderick, if you can't get your iPad going or anything like that, can you actually inform the clerk and he'll have some minutes ready for you?
I will do, yeah. There's any ground after that, that's it.
Yeah, it just saves this time you've been going down and thinking about. Okay.
Anybody fancy a cigarette?
Is it too early to tell thing?
It is, yes.
One round outside, I'll get it there. Yeah.
Right, we'll move on now. Borough and County Council's reports. Scarborough Borough Council's reports. Please could you give your verbal reports, councillors, please? Have you got one, Councillor Cockrell?
Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions for Councillor Cockrell while we're on that subject?
Can't ask questions if we don't know what's going on.
True. But you could maybe just ask a few questions that he's already spoken about. Councillor Wilkie, have you any else?
No, I didn't prepare anything, so I didn't.
No, I know.
Council Cockles.
I know. Right.
Could I just ask, when we put in for a bid for Scarborough Council's money, we can put in a bid for certain items and I've forgotten which got a proper name on it. Capital bid. When do we have to put that in for?
You can put it in any time, but I mean, now would be ideal because they're starting looking at the budgets for next year already.
Yes.
So you have to get it in as soon as you can. Certainly I wouldn't leave it till after Christmas.
So what's for the next agenda, that everything we want to put forward? So could we request that, please?
Yes, we could.
The capital project to be put forward at the next meeting.
Exactly, like this.
Well, ideas for capital
Yes,
thing,
ideas.
possibly something achievable.
Yeah. Okay, Councillor Shackleton, then Councillor Anthony.
Yeah, it's just briefly about what we touched on about the sports facility, Chair. As you're aware, we've probably had no communication with Igor Academy over this matter since probably January when we had the last meeting. I was just wondering if either Councillor Cockrell or the Borough Council had any communication since.
Through you, Chair, I have been in contact with Kevin, who's looking after this, a number of times, and he's speaking to Sport England. They're doing some sketches, and they've actually, I emailed him over this afternoon, and he's still waiting for an update.
Just one more thing. The Borough they didn't ring fence an extra 200,000. I just wondered if that one was still available.
It's always been available as long as the project is started or committed by July 2020.
2021.
This is one reason why I'm keeping the pressure up to try and make sure we do get it and it doesn't go back into the mountain.
That wasn't made clear in his budget report this year. That was
It's been stated before.
Right, Councillor Anthony.
I just wondered, Councillor Cockle, if there's any update on the camping stone regarding the complaint that was put in by the residents to me.
What was the complaint? I'm not aware of the complaint.
Oh, well, it was about procedural matters, that things have not been done legally.
Right.
I'm not aware of.
I'm not aware of anything.
Okay. Who would be the best person to find out?
If Mr. Milton would copy it to me, I can say, if you get him to copy it to me,
Right.
I can look into it.
Yeah.
Right, thank you for that. Councillor.
Yeah, could I ask as well, I know that Councillor Meek is waiting for this letter from Scarborough Council to give permission for the skateboard park, and it is advisable that they don't actually raise any money until they know they have got the land in writing, signed and sealed. Do you know anything about it, Councillor Cockle?
Yeah. Councillor Leaf had a letter earlier this year.
But was that not saying in principle?
Yes. But it's in principle, depending, as Councillor Shackleton mentioned earlier on a load of permissions that have got to go in. But the land is there, it is allocated.
Right.
And that-
I don't
and that's
think
been
that
in the
was
letter.
understood by the committee.
Can I just say something?
Councillor Shackleton.
Yeah. The letter of agreement in principle actually came from the planning department, not any other officers. It was from the planning department.
Well, that would come from the planning department, it was from the estate.
They agreed in principle. They said there's no objection.
Yeah,
They
the
agreed in
estate.
principle. Yeah.
Because they are the longer.
Councillor Anthony.
To check. So, Councillor Shackleton.
Through the chair.
I think to
All
the
right.
chair, Councillor Shackleton.
It's outside.
Forgotten now. Oh, there's a lot of groups now talking about wanting to fundraise. Can they get on with that? Oh,
No.
right. Okay, I'll pass that on. Thank you.
It is questions to Scarborough Borough Council, by the way.
Well, I was just picking up on
Right, is there any more questions for Councillor Cockrell? No, thank you very much, Councillor Cockrell. Councillor Cross, have you
a brief report, Chair. We're still having a lot of problems, and environmental health having a problem with the property next door. They think it's ideal to throw rubbish out the window and leave it out. They walk past and see the property that's owned by Ashton. There has been requests made from us to put a roof on the bin store and smack it up and put some springs on the gate so that it closes automatically and it's not left swinging about, so that is still ongoing with the environmental health team. The other thing to mention is, I mentioned that the previous meeting, the calling of the party decision that went to ONS on Monday, the Cabinet yesterday, and that's been delayed. And so there's going to be no charges. That's why you see most of the machines have got the covers on, which is good news. And my thanks to Jack Jefferson who took it to the Cabinet and to the ONS, and members of Scarborough Chamber of Trade. And just one final thing, it's mentioned, but I mean, it's a big day next Wednesday, because we've got the Chief Police Officer and all of North Yorkshire and York coming to this council chambers, and if anybody would like to ask questions, please submit them to Mrs. Popson in the council offices, and you know, you'll get a suitable answer. But I mean, it's a big day, the fact that she's actually coming and she's actually seeing what the team's doing private.
Thank you for that, Councillor Cross. Are there any questions for that, Councillor Shackleton?
I'd just like to ask Councillor Cross if there's been any fallout over the walkouts in the week.
There's been no fallout over the walkout. I think most people that are aware that the only people that can stop people going to a council meeting are the electorate out there by actually voting for us or by not voting for us as councillors. And unfortunately we have to take that course of action following the walkout, and it's pleasing that we've got the Labour and Independent Group of walkout.
Was the walkout over
It was more of a point that's been scary in the sense of full down.
some members asked for an extra meeting?
We did actually
Hasn't been called.
Yeah, it hasn't been called.
That the reason for the walkout?
Probably 8 weeks ago.
Thank you for that, Councillor Shackleton. Is anybody else wish to ask a question of Councillor Cross, please? No? No? Okay, we'll move on then. Councillors have received a report from North Yorkshire County Council. Councillors, Safari Town Council area. Councillor Swires.
I haven't got a great deal tonight, I don't think. I was hoping to have a better update for you on the situation regarding the youth club. But unfortunately I haven't been able to get hold of Ian Wayne. I've been trying for the past week to get a word with him, because I'm given to understand that the youth club have moved out of the premises and are somewhere else. I'm just going to make my note. But from county side, I spoke to Elizabeth White from the she's the area prevention manager belonging to the area prevention team who deal with this. And Ian Wayne has not been to the children's centre to look round, which I was hoping to hear that he had been. And as far as she is aware, everything is going forward, and they're hoping that we'll have everything ready by about February half term. There's been some complications over paperwork which they're sorting out, and it needs decorating because it isn't to the standard that county would allow it to be used in. So there's some decorations and Wi-Fi, etc. to be used.
I have no idea who to talk about.
The youth club has to leave its premises, well, has already left its premises in Brooklyn.
Yes.
I believe the owner wanted to sell, and also it's fitted in with
Oh,
county.
it doesn't actually belong to North Yorkshire County Council.
No, it's rented.
It's rented. That's where yes, before.
So the proposal is that they move into the children's centre. And as far as I'm aware, that is still the proposal, and that is what the prevention team are working on.
Next to the infant school.
Yes.
What used to be Short Art. That's where
So that's where we are at the moment. that the youth care is provided for North Yorkshire, and Ian Wade is in charge of that. And I've been trying to get hold of him because I believe they have relocated somewhere else in the interim. But I just need to know exactly what his thinking is, and unfortunately I haven't been able to get hold of him as yet, but I am trying.
Right.
But I don't think there's any problem. There is a place for them to go, and I don't think there's any problem. It's just what they want to do.
Right, thank you.
So I was hoping to have a better update.
I'm assuming the place where they're at now is safe and appropriate. We don't know where they are.
Well, this is why I'm trying to get hold of him, because I don't know where they are.
I was speaking to someone today from the prevention team. They thought they were going to St John's.
That would sound like it.
Yeah.
That would sound like it. Yes. Anyway, I've been trying to get a word, but I've been
Just
unsuccessful.
before you go any further, Councillor Lee.
The youth centre, was North Yorkshire given notice, or did North Yorkshire decide to withdraw from the premises?
Given notice, I think.
Given notice.
So, the other question I'd like to know, the town mayor at the time, as far as I recall, gave 500 quid towards the equipment.
Yes.
What has happened to that equipment, and also 500 quid money? Has it been spent?
I'm afraid I don't know the answer to that.
If you could look into that for us, Ellen, and see what's happened.
Councillor.
Perhaps I could answer that. I do believe it's going out to worthy families, some of the things.
Sort of £500.
Well, it's not about £500. Some of the things that were in, you know, that are no good to anybody else are going out to.
Right.
Being donated to families in need. That's what I was getting at.
Yes, because I think the kitchen has just been done up to very good standard. But these things happen. It's
Yes, that £500 was actually given to provide a coffee machine for them. That's what it was given for, and I'm not sure whether they actually got it or not.
So if the £500 hadn't been spent, it should be returned?
Yes.
yeah, but they'll probably still need a coffee machine. I mean, they're not going out of existence.
They're not going out of the existence, no, but that was provided for that cafe shop in there, so they could actually teach the kids that was going in there to learn how to do things, with learning difficulties, went into there, and there was a chef came through and actually taught them how to cook things and how to present things and that, and the money was withdrawn from that project, so that was fully stopped.
Yeah.
So that was before the notice went in. Right. So really, we as what the council are asking, where has the actual machine has gone to? I think that's the idea.
I'll see if I can
Okay.
find out.
Right. Thank you. Right, at this point I will move standing order 3E, adjourn the meeting and to allow Councillor Cross to speak in relation to the item of business currently being discussed.
Thank you.
Councillor
Chair.
Cross.
Yeah, really, I'm just a bit confused, like what Marion was listening to it. Who owns the youth centre itself, the building? That's still owned by North York.
Sorry, you mean Brooklands?
Yeah, Brooklyn.
It belongs to somebody else and it's rented.
It belongs to somebody else, so we don't own that, or the North Yorkshire County Council. Well, when did they sell that building? Because that was always an asset of North Yorkshire County Council.
Not as far as I'm aware.
Well, I'd like you to look into that, please, because I was always told that was an asset of North Yorkshire County Council.
Well, I can certainly ask again, but as far as I'm aware, it certainly hasn't been in the recent past.
Right.
And I can't see that they would sell it to rent it back.
No. Well, that's what Councillor said.
But I can
it's
ask,
in the place.
but that's yes, right.
Okay. Is that all, Councillor Cross?
Yeah, that's fine.
Right, thank you. I will now end the adjournment and only members of the council may speak. Is there any more questions for Councillor Squires on that related topic? No? Carry on, Councillor Squires.
There was an event for the proposed extra care scheme at the Everton Centre on Monday night, and unfortunately I couldn't get to it. So I would be interested in any feedback if anyone could get. If anyone has any feedback for me. No, well then I can't really say much more about that. You know, because I just wanted to know what people really thought of the scheme. No, I haven't really. It's really very general. Anything else I have really. As you're probably aware, the government has given out some money for highways, and I believe that North Yorkshire Highway Maintenance is due to receive a further 13.5 million, which the government announced on Monday. Although we have not had any official notification yet, and we don't know what strings will be attached to it. But it is a significant contribution to repairing the county's roads, on top of the additional 8 million that the county has contributed from its own funds in recent years, and the 24 million for the rural roads network that was provided through York and North Yorkshire Local Enterprise Partnership. So there is a lot of money going on roads across the county, but we do have nearly 6,000 miles of roads, so it takes a little bit of covering. And needless to say, the highways is now geared up for winter gritting. Therefore, if I could please ask you to remind any motorists to park considerately, to allow gritters to pass without any obstructions. Because so far this year already we've had 2 routes that have been partially affected because the gritter wagon couldn't get through. And if a gritter wagon can't get through, then neither can a fire engine or an ambulance or any other vehicle. So, you know, if you come across anyone, then just do remind them if you can be. And I'll just give a mention to the Drop In and Say Hello campaign that is ongoing during November. Social activities are being held along the North Yorkshire coast during this month, which aims to bring people together and to tackle loneliness and isolation. North Yorkshire Stronger Communities and Living Well teams have been working with voluntary and community organisations and the Beyond Housing Community Development organisations on research that's been run by the Centre for Better Ageing, which is a national research centre looking at issues that affect older people, and to look at how people over 50, you see if you're over 50 you're older, so help me yet, I don't know what I am, how they contribute to the community. So it's quite an interesting piece of research that's being undertaken. And it's really setting out to emphasise how even a small act of saying hello to someone can make a difference to their day. A series of community events are happening in the Scarborough area, and this includes Filey and Whitby. They're encouraging people to come together, enjoy themselves, try something new, all the usual sort of Sorry?
Do you know where or where?
I don't have any particulars because I was trying to find some out. To be honest, I haven't really had much chance to this. And the organising teams do hope that the campaign will run each year and that more activities and more venues will be added across the district. So I think it's a very worthwhile. And the other thing I thought that might be of interest to you is that today we have the last meeting of the Fire and Rescue Authority. But tomorrow there is no more. Their role and responsibilities have been handed over to the Peace Commissioner during the meeting. Just for your information. Does anybody have any questions about anything else? I'm afraid that's a bit thin tonight.
Councillor Wilkie.
Yeah, it was just a comment on your saying about the strings attached to the money for the roads. What sort of strings?
Well, we don't know. We haven't got anything yet.
No, but you're expecting some strings attached.
Well, there usually is.
That's what I'm saying. If there usually is, you might have an idea. So you can
There'll
only
be,
spend it on air roads or.
Well, it might be to be spent by April. Are you going to spend money on roads by April? You know, we don't know at this point in time.
Just interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realise. I thought you just got the money and spent it how you on your most needy things rather than.
Well, it'll maybe be ring-fencing some way in particular.
So basically, so you can't put it in the back pocket and spend it over a period of time. You have to spend it by cents.
Well, until we see, you know, what the criteria is, I can't really answer that.
It's just an interesting comment. I didn't realise there would be strings
Oh,
attached to
nothing
money.
that is straightforward. And do remember, it is one-off money, and it's really the settlement that is the really important thing to us.
Right. Does anyone have any more questions for Councillor Swayers? Councillor Sharp?
Yeah, I'd just like to ask Alan's thoughts on the way that Farley arranged the memorial services over the weekend.
Well, I was going to say I really enjoyed, if that's the right word. It was moving, and I just thought the service was absolutely spot on. I just do not know how it could be done any better, and I think that I wasn't at the moonlight light procession, but I can imagine it would really be, you know, really special. And the following day, when we had all the school children, those school children did so well. Yeah, absolutely. The little ones made up their words themselves, you know, put them together themselves, and for the Eagle Academy choir to stand up and sing without any music at all. I just thought they were really, everything was really very good. Yeah, no, I think you did the British Legion proud.
I just say, I just think on Monday it was a very poor attendance from councillors. Very poor. There's 5 of us there.
Well, it was their loss.
Absolutely their loss. Yeah.
And I'm so pleased you got the roses planted.
Yes. Yes, they were from you there. To do with the.
Yes, it was nice.
100 years, yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, it looks better than being
Yeah.
blank.
Yeah.
Does anybody else wish to question? Councillor Swayers? No, well, thank you very much for coming, Councillor Swayers.
Well, I'm sorry it's kind of a bit thin tonight.
No, that's fine, really. It's all about Farley, really, and Farley area interest around us. Right, we'll move on now to number 6 on the agenda. Is Cobble Replica. Items requested by Councillor Cockrell. I hope you have had an opportunity to review the letter, and I open the item for discussion for councillors. Councillor Shackleton.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we'll all remember at the last meeting we did agree in principle support this. I'm one that's actually fully behind it. I think it's a really good idea, particularly for the heritage of the fishing industry that was in Farley. But I feel that there are several questions that we need to ask Councillor Cockrell before we do commit any money, and I hope we'll be able to answer. Really, I'd like to know that who would retain ownership of the said vessel, and also who is responsible for the insurance and the maintenance. You know, these are questions that we need to know really before we go on. And I would also just like to follow that with that there is actually nothing in this year's budget for for this coming. So I think if council do agree to fund this, it does need to go to finance to identify the level of funding and where the funding will come out of. But as I say, I'm fully behind it.
Can you answer those questions, Councillor Cox?
Yeah, whilst it hasn't been gone into in great detail, because I want to make sure I've got the money first, but as far as I'm concerned, it will be very much like the Angle statute, the Borough Council will take on that responsibility. To me, it's just the only logical way.
Councillor Mead?
The thing that amuses me, one sentence in this letter, pound for pound. We do pay council tax as residents to Scarborough, and then we pay a precept. So, in my mind, Scarborough should be putting more into it than what we do. We're paying twice as residents of Firely. We're paying as precept, and then we're paying into Scarborough Borough Council, and then they want us to match it pound for pound. I just don't understand that.
Councillor Holden Barnes?
I would just like to say that I think this is a really good idea. I'm fully in agreement with Councillor Shackleton and the questions that he has raised, and the answers that we've got from Councillor Cockrell. I feel that as a local council to our own Firely council, if we can't support this and put finance towards it, it's a very well to do. I mean, it's our heritage, it's going to sit on Firely seafront, it's part of who we are and what we are. We're fighting hard with the rest of the mates for this thing to keep continuing. We've got MPs on board. If we can't have a life-size replica down there, and I think that Scarborough Council giving us 5,000, but not giving us matching 5,000, which I'm presuming we don't have to do anyway, it's something that we just need to move on from. And if we want this in Firely, we need to do this. We can't keep putting it on everybody else. It's up to us to move forward as a council. I do feel we need to do something for Firely, because we are feeling along with some people in Firely feel like council don't do anything. So I think this would be a fantastic opportunity to show that we have got great faith in our own council, that we can do something and we can put it where it should be. When I had a conversation with Councillor Cockrell as to how it would be, and he said it would be replica life size, and there would be a plaque next to it to explain who it was and how it was and who sponsored it. I just really can't see why we would even consider this. It just has, in my opinion, we just have to put some money towards it.
Right, thank you, Councillor Holden Barnes, Councillor Wilkie, and then Councillor Roderick.
Marilyn next.
I totally agree with what's been said. I fully support it. Just a question for Councillor Cockrell. Would it be a replica of a particular cobble or a generic cobble?
As far as I'm aware, most of the cobbles were more or less built as we went along. There was a basic design, and certainly I've just recently come into possession of some plans of a cobble that was based at Firely, and that was one that we could certainly use. It would be, it might not be an absolute true representation, but it would be a good representation of a traditional Firely cobble.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, Councillor Anthony, I just didn't see you put your hand up at that time. Councillor Wilkie?
Yeah, I'm the same. I think Councillor Holden said it already. I think we cannot just keep going back to this taxation thing. Let's just get on with this. It's a great idea. It's just such a shame we can't beat a real cobble that was down there already. But I think this is the next best thing. And Councillor Shackleton is right about the maintenance, because on the cobble landing, it's going to be, wherever it's sited, wherever it is, it's going to come up against a whole heap of elements, isn't it? So, I think if we get those things sorted out, I'm fully supportive. I think we should just get on with it and get it up as soon as we can. We'll have to identify some level of funding. But
Thank you for that, Councillor Wilkie. Councillor Roderick?
Yeah, I'm a bit sick of this that keeps coming up about Scarborough shouldn't this and that and sort of thing. This is, as far as that makes sense, it's not going to be a great deal of advantage to Scarborough, but it's a great deal of advantage to Firely. And I would like to see Firely put in the maximum amount of money it can put in. I pay two lottery rates as well in Chinensley. I'm well aware of the fact that I live in a three-tier authority and that this is the way that it breaks down, but I don't expect Scarborough hit for 5 grand in. Well, thank you very much, Scarborough. Actually, I think you're looking for another 25, Matt? Is it something like that?
It's 30 altogether through, Chair.
Yeah, and I can't see why, if we can spend money, like we spend money on things that baffle me sometimes, particularly in relation to that thing that's sold, why we can't give the remainder of the money to Council Cockerell for that, because it's going to bring an advantage to Highland. Unlike so many other things that seem to be not, if you like, fairly dear. That's my own personal feeling on it.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Roderick. Councillor Shackleton.
Yeah, well, firstly I'd just like to answer a comment there about being fire geared. Anything that this council spends money on is always fire geared. It's for no other purpose. I'm saying that it's not often I disagree with a good friend and colleague, but I think it's sadly mistaken at this one in any case. Scarborough don't have to give anything for this statue. It's for Fire. It's good that they are willing to give up to 5,000. They haven't said they'll give 5,000, they said they'll give up to 5,000. And I think we should go ahead. But as I say, we need to identify everything.
Right, thank you for that. Councillor Roderick, Councillor Mead and then Councillor Wright.
Just to say to Councillor Shackleton, I didn't mean that in a personal way.
But it's what you said.
No, I apologise, it came out slightly wrong. But it does seem that some of the things that we do maybe don't focus like they should. I'm greatly in favour of living down at Cobbleland, and it's where all the visitors like to go and have a tea and see jingles and all the things like that. And that's why I'm 100% in favour of it. And I don't take your point on the fact that yes, it is for violence. And I would like to see us put the rest of the money in and pay for it.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Roderick. Councillor Mead and then Councillor Wright.
I didn't say I was against it. I wanted to know why we were putting in twice, pound for pound. And I think if the question wants asking, you should ask it. Not back and just sit back and say, oh, I should have asked this. You get on with it. If people don't like it, that's fair enough. I ask questions that people don't like.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Mead. Councillor Wright.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Councillor Mead that you should ask the question. That's how it feels, but I don't see it in quite the way that he sees it. I see it in the way that this is something extra. It's not part of statutory things which are dustbins and, cleaning and whatever Scrab has to do. This is extra, and I'm fully in favour of backing this and council identifying money in the next round of things to get it into the precept and everything for next year. Even if it has to be precepted for a little tiny bit, I think it will be an advantage, and I think it will be a feather in the cap for Viley. It will be wonderful.
Thank you for that, Councillor Wright, and I totally agree with you. Everybody has their own reasons for speaking and that, and so they should do. That's what the council is all about. The next one on the list is
Shackleton.
Councillor Shackleton. Yeah, sorry.
I'd just like to make a proposal, Chair, to move this on, and that proposal is that the council vote to back this venture financially, and that it goes to the next finance committee to identify.
Right, Councillor Shackleton, we've got two more people that wish to speak, and after those two have spoken, we can then put it to the floor. Okay, the next one on is Councillor Alden Vance, and then Councillor Anthony.
I'm not here to Councillor Shackleton.
You'll do what you want.
I'm not sure if it's the right way. I would like to say to put an amount forward that we should give, or consider giving. Which I know has to come up to finance. Are we correct with that?
Sorry?
Okay, so I'd like to put forward that, Councillor Cockle, we have, or you have, should I say, could you tell me how much there's a deficit that you are aware of so far?
Right, the overall cost, which does include the small element of contingency, is £30,000. I have two pledges of £5,000 each, and another one from Councillor Swayze of £1,000. So at the moment, I have firm commitments for £11,000. So I, at the moment, I'm 19,000 short. If the town council agrees and match fees the borough, that would leave me to the maximum, that would be £9,000 short.
Well, I propose that we put the deficit that Councillor Cockle needs for this project to go forward.
Once again, can I just hold higher on that one until Councillor Anthony has spoken, please?
That was my amendment, that we're specifying the amount for
Right.
the finance committee to look for.
Right. Councillor Shackleton,
Yeah.
seeing as you put your proposal up first, have you got a seconder for your proposal?
Well, no, I want to ask you what's already been said, Chair, before we move on.
Carry on then.
Right. As I've already said, there's nothing in the budget for this year. And I will make members aware now that it's come up, that the budget is looking to be £24,000 overspent already this year. So we need to be just careful about what we're saying. So I'll say it again, I think it should go to finance to sort the funding out. And then you'll see what we have.
Councillor Wright.
Can we just clarify this, please, Councillor? When you say this year, you mean this year...
18-19.
Right.
This year.
But you are now creating an amount in your figures to put forward for 1920.
Well, not at the moment, no. We'll do that later on.
Yes, that's where I'm coming
But
from.
this year's budget from April to April.
I think we would all understand that perfectly, that it wouldn't be available till after April next year.
That's right.
As long as we're clear. Now, I don't think any of us, Councillor Shackleton, are expecting it to come out at this time till April, that we budget for it for the April of 1920. And I think that's where they should be identifying from the finance committee what is the amount that they can put in, and that's where I said for pre-setting.
I'd just like to add that in all my years as chair of finance, our budget has never gone over. And this is the first year, and I seriously want it to be the last year.
Okay. Councillor Holdenbank.
Since this is the first one on the agenda of asking for money, because there's other things on this agenda asking for money, if we're already in deficit, as Councillor Shackleton has just said, are going to be, of course.
Guesstimate at the moment.
That would then, if, you know, what we're going, right, I propose that we give 19,000 towards this cause. I don't think we'd like to second that.
Yeah, but I think what you need to say is you want 19,000 included in
budget. Thank you,
1920
Councillor
budget.
Shackleton. Thank you. That's what I'd like to say. Yes.
Have you got a second for that? Right. Proposal second. Have you an amendment to that?
Well, that is the amendment.
That's the amendment.
You can have an amendment to an amendment.
So we need a seconder for the proposal, don't we?
We do. Now we've already got one of those, Councillor Lee.
So now we've got the amendment.
Now we've got amendment. The amendment comes first.
It seems a bit weird in this
It
case.
does, I know it does, but it does come first.
Well, you vote for the amendment, and if the amendment wins,
Yeah.
That's it, that was not the proposal.
Okay. So all those in favour of the amendment?
Is that not us? That's 19,000.
So this is the
Yeah.
This is the 1920.
Yeah. That's from the budget. Won't be available until next May. All right, okay.
Right? 8? Did we get 8? Yeah. Right.
Thank you.
There's 8 members voted for the amendment. So there's only one person left,
Abstain.
and he's abstained. So the actual amendment is carried. There's no other thing for it. Okay?
Mr Mayor, can I thank you and the town councillors for that? I'm gobsmacked, quite honestly.
I bet you are. No.
I came hoping to get 5,
Yeah.
and got the lot. Great. I mean, what I will do, I believe this will help Councillor Shackleton, actually report that back to the Borough Council and say, I still want your 5, which will then make a reduction in the town council.
That'd be absolutely
And I have other funding bids outstanding, whether or not I get anything I don't know, but anything that I do get, obviously I'll report back to the town council so that it can be made down.
Yeah, we're working together.
It's your first round.
Yeah. Double back.
Right.
Thank you.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Cockrell. We move on now to number 7 on the agenda, Town Clerk and RFO report. I will now hand over to the clerk.
I'm sorry, Chair, she's a really bad influence on me. You know I'm as quiet as a lamb.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I hope you've all had a chance to read the report and ask any questions regarding it.
Are there any questions on the report? Councillor Meakin and Councillor Wilkie.
Well, it's not a question. Those dates it's been published, I have already put them into my phone diary.
Thank you.
Otherwise I'll forget.
Right. Councillor Wilkie.
Yeah, number 2, the action log. I'm sorry if I've missed something. What is the job application for?
All right.
Sorry?
What are you?
Well, I have missed it. I knew that, but I didn't realise it was 16.
It's been, it was advertised at the beginning of this month with all applicants due to be in by Friday.
Well, that was unsure because I thought that's a long way away. Yes, we're not normally that organised.
The interview date on the 11th and 12th of December.
It didn't make it clear on there. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any more questions on the town clerk's report, please? No? Right, we'll move on then to number 8 on the agenda.
Sorry, just
Carry on.
I've just got one point that wasn't available at the time, but regarding the additional dog wardens, we've had a number of communications with Harry Briggs from SPC, and currently the situation is that it will cost us £12,000 for a 12-month trial test, part-time, one person part-time, of which 4,000 of that it will be the cost of the vehicle and fuel costs and driving.
I couldn't get clarification from, sorry.
Go on, carry on,
Yeah,
Councillor Anthony.
David, sorry. I couldn't get clarification from Harry Briggs really about what they're doing is they've got 1.5 and they're losing half. They're losing half and then they're applying another full time. So I was trying to clarify whether we are still going to get some of that 1.5 as well as our part-time. And we didn't seem to be on the wavelength, so I'm still trying to get clarification on that.
We are, yes. So that's the situation that Harry's having difficulty understanding that we've already obviously contributed to a part of a dog warden.
Yes.
Are we either getting some of that money back or taken off or what in terms of the overall cost?
So the way forward really was now to get opinions of what people were feeling about that amount. So I won't look at John.
Right. Thank you for that. At this point, I will move standing orders 3E and adjourn the meeting to have Councillor Cockle to give us some information, please.
Yeah, I have actually been talking at the borough about dog wardens, and I was actually gobsmacked when I found out that one of the reasons why they haven't got such a high presence and picking up people who are not picking up is the fact that they spend the vast majority of the time trying to identify the owners of stray dogs and taking them back to their owners. So, could I suggest, Mr. Mayor, that if you want to get good value for money for filing from that, you do a job specification and that they spend the time in filing on the ground.
The clerk wishes to speak.
That is one of the points that Councillor Anthony and myself put to Harry, that we would want our job spec for our person to do what we wanted and when we wanted it to be done in filing.
Right, thank you for that. Councillor Mead?
David, regarding the job spec, do we know when he arrives and when he departs, or will we know?
We can specify that, Councillor Mead. We can say that we want them here at varying times, mornings, evenings, during the day, whichever we consider to be the most appropriate, what locations we consider to be the most appropriate, which will give us the most significant effect.
Okay.
Just
Councillor Wright?
to say that he needs to check in here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
to let us know that he's here.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
6 o'clock in the morning.
Well.
Or some other way of doing it electronically.
Let Marion know.
Yeah, that's my idea.
Councillor Wilkie, do you want to speak?
I was just going to ask about the furniture.
Yes. Furniture?
Yeah, well, in the report says that the tables have been
Polished, yes.
they've just been polished. I thought they were being...
They have been polished and been tightened up and
Yeah, the tables are.
I just wondered, just I was wondering what they'd actually done. I don't know what the remit was.
yeah, they did exactly as we required. To do any more would have been a rebuild.
Right.
I didn't expect them to not be wobbling and creaking.
I think it's a 100-year-old table, you're going to struggle.
Councillor Meek and then Councillor Shackleton.
The same subject, they have been refurbished because one of them, I don't know if it's leather or what it is, the fabric on the top of the desk, it was all bubbled and coming away. If you look for it, you can see it, they've done a very good job with it. Top of the tables.
Councillor Shackleton.
Yeah, I do apologise, Chair, I didn't realise we were moving like dog yet. But there you go. My thoughts, totally unproductive. Absolutely unproductive dog water community filer. There is not one person in this room that walks around filing more times a day than I do. And I have never ever seen anybody not picking up. So what chances are Warden of finding somebody that's just going to come in for a couple of hours a day? They haven't. There's no deterrent whatsoever. Most of the dog people that do pick up are done very early morning and late at night. People say it's visitors that come to file that don't pick up. That's untrue, because the situation is worse in winter than it is in summer when it's like this. That's my rant for today, Chair.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Shackleton. Councillor Anthony.
Well, I don't walk around Filey very much, but I do see people and I do tell people who leave it. And this is why we wanted somebody who would work early mornings. I mean, the state of West Road outside the infant school is absolutely appalling, and I don't see how we can ignore it any longer. We have to do something. As a council, we have to do something. And I'm all for anybody who's got a better idea. But the kids are treading it all over.
I agree with you entirely.
Councillor Anthony, have you finished now?
I can say no more, Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Anthony. Councillor Shackleton.
Yeah, this council has done things to make dog walkers aware that they must pick up. only, was it last year or the year before, we purchased the notices to go on various posts around Farley. They've not made much difference. Early mornings, Queen Street, one of the worst streets in Farley to live on for dog dirt. And Russ used to come and sit in his van very early morning, and he never caught one person not picking up down Queen Street.
Yes, I knew he was there.
Absolutely. You know, I'm like anybody, I don't have to want to walk through dog dirt, and it sickens me when I see somebody pushing a pushchair through it. But you know, until we get a number of people in court, heavily fined, this situation will not stop. And I don't think a dog warden's the answer, to be honest. I think it will be unproductive.
Councillor Anthony.
Well, that's not going to happen, Councillor Shackleton, because
No, it won't happen.
people are not, they're not taking them to court anymore. It's on the spot fines. And we need to get a dog warden who knows where to go and how to keep out of sight and how to catch these people, not to sit in the van in full view as somebody walks past with a dog.
There's even been some in Memorial Gardens, believe that.
Yes,
Exactly, yes. I nearly got it myself, didn't I? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I can take you to several places in Farley where it's a regular occurrence.
Yeah.
And it's the same dog, because it's the same colour droppings, so it's eating the same food, and it's the same big dog.
Because we're going in.
So we've got Sherlock Holmes in on this. Councillor Anthony again. Come on, Councillor, now.
Well, can I just ask, are all councillors in agreement with Councillor Shackleton? Am I wasting my
Every
breath?
council has their view.
Well, I'm asking, not that many.
Yes, yes. Councillor Holden Banks.
I just think that if there was a dog warden, and as I've just been informed now by Councillor Anthony, that it's on the spot fine, then surely as a deterrent that might put some people off if they know they're going to get fined there and then. Is it on the spot?
Yes, they're employed by...
They do up expenses.
Yeah. So if they can get fined, not going to court and getting, if they can watch their dog defecate and then they can fine them there and then for it, surely that must be, would make people want to not let the dogs do it as much. And if there is areas that people know they do it first thing in the morning, then those are the areas that the dog warden needs to be going into and finding them. And once a couple of fines have gone out, so I'm in agreement with Councillor Anthony. I think we need to do something, because we are a holiday resort after all, as well as when he lives and enjoys the beauty of it all. We need to take some responsibility, even if the dog owners don't themselves.
Yeah. That's the thing is, if the courts, the prosecutors, and it was putting on media and everywhere, so that it shows us that they are actually getting...
Even if they only trialled it for a year and thought, see if there was any effect of it. Did a year trial of it, see if there's any effect, see if it made any difference. If it didn't make any difference, then we walked away. If it did, we've tried. It's another thing we can say to council. We are trying to work with everybody and move forward and try and do something. And I appreciate what Councillor Shackleton is saying as well. I do understand his point of view. But, a deterrent sometimes, just going to court is not good enough if it's people that turn up to court, for goodness sake. But if they're going to get fined there and then, it might make a slight difference.
Councillor Wright.
Yeah, just agree with Councillor Holden Banks. Try it for a year, give it a good shot, and if it makes no difference whatsoever, we've wasted everything up. I think it'd be detrimental not to try it. I think the word will get round, and it's by word that people will say, hey, do you know, so. I do see a lot of people picking up, but on the same vein, there must be others that are not picking up. But if you have somebody at random times, they don't know where they're coming. So I think we should give it a trial at least.
Councillor Shackleton.
Yeah. If members do agree to this, are we looking at zero tolerance with dog walkers? As in, zero tolerance for not picking up, zero tolerance for having your dog off a lead when it should be off a lead? Or are we just looking at dog droppings?
It is a dog Through you, Chair.
Because you can walk through Crescent Gardens on a daily basis and dogs are running loose. Glen Gardens is running loose and also along the seafront. So, you know, are we having zero tolerance for that also?
Overall.
No, because you can't do one thing for one person.
Yeah, through you, Chair, that would be for us to decide, and I believe that, yeah.
Sorry, I know you want to wrap this up, but just on what Councillor Shackleton's saying, is that where the dogs are off the lead, there is signs saying do not let your dogs off the lead. So therefore they're letting their dogs off, knowing the breaking whatever law there is on the Crescent or in Memorial Garden, so therefore they should be fined for having the dog off the lead, off a dog to lead, because it says clearly do not do this. So it has to be, you know, a straight thing in my opinion, but that's obviously a discussion for the rest of the council.
Councillor Wilkie and then Councillor Shackleton.
It's just a zero tolerance thing, and then we're going to open another can of worms, particularly with visitors that bring the dogs. They're going to be saying, don't go to Filey, it's not dog friendly. So where do you stop?
Councillor Anthony.
Well, it's Councillor, I was just going to say, do we want people bringing the dogs who leave the dog muck all over our pavements? We don't.
No, we don't.
Right, Councillor Wilkie this time.
Right. I'm out of the town most of the time, so it's only weekends when I sleep. So if this is such a massive problem, what one person at a time we're going to get them is not going to make much effect. I'm not sure whether, I'm undecided on it. You know, we need to do something. I totally agree with that. People do come, they do flout the signs, they do flout the laws, because there is no deterrent, no real deterrent. Yes, there's on-the-spot fines, get that, which could be a deterrent. I don't know about that, whether it will be or not. But you see it in everyday life, parking, people challenging authority, and people, members of the public, the ones, not the majority that pick up and look and do it properly, but the few that just blatantly don't care, and they don't care about anything, and they flout authority. So if it's only a few minor people, is it such a massive problem that we think it is? It obviously is, because it's all over the place. So it can't be in 4 different places at once, and I think that's the problem. You probably need to make a real effect. I'm not saying we shouldn't do anything, but to make a real effect, you might need 4 dog wardens in the town, wouldn't you? So I mean, that's not going to happen, is it? So I'm a bit undecided on it at the minute.
Can I propose we put this on the next agenda?
Yeah.
Because we've all had our say on it, and there might be a little bit more news on this from the clerk on this, so we can make a decision then at the next agenda. Okay, is everybody in favour of that? Thank you. Seconded by Councillor May. And everybody in favour of that?
You are aware that that's the Christmas.
I am aware of that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Okay. Can we move on now? Have you finished, Mr. Clark? Thank you. Right, we'll go on to Councillor to number 8 on the minutes. Minutes of the ordinary meeting held on Wednesday, 10th of October 2018. You've all had a chance to read the minutes. Please could I have a proposer and a second to approve them?
Can I just say something first?
Yes.
I appear to have changed my initial to an R instead of J, and the reason I wasn't at the last meeting was a family commitment. Not
Right. Okay, that will be entered, and your initial will be changed on that one. Okay. So, according to that, are we all in favour of those minutes, please? Thank you. We'll go on now to number 9 on the agenda. Council committee minutes and reports from local organisation meetings. A. Councillor to receive a summary by the chair of the meetings below to note the minutes. Okay. and I hope you have read had a chance to read the minutes of that meeting. It's Town Guide, Map and Guide, and Finance and General Purposes Committee. Them was the only two that we had last between the two full council meetings. Is there any comments by the chairs of those two meetings? The Map and Guide first.
I went to that meeting, Councillor Yeldon won't be here. I mean, it looks okay to me.
Right.
I wasn't there.
Okay.
Oh.
Right. Now, okay, you put that forward?
Yeah.
Yes. Finance and General Purposes Committee. Right, that's fine.
As Mickey's chair, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Right. Okay, have we got a proposal for that and a seconder for that? I was there, so I propose that. Councillor Shackleton or Councillor Meek, that's seconded. All those in favour of those two in block? Everybody? Okay. Right. B, Property Committee meeting. Wish to bring to the attention of the meeting the current situation regarding Queen Street Gardens. May I call upon Councillor Anthony to give some background as to this request?
The reason it's referred back to council, is that there were only 3 of us that attended the property meeting, and we felt that it's a big decision to make and not something that we could take with only 3 being for it. So, have you all read what's actually on the... Yeah. Is there any questions anybody like to...
Have we any questions for Councillor Anthony?
Basically, we're looking at where we go from here, whether we actually rescind the decision we made last time, looking at the amount of money we're going to have to spend, and you can tell here, just to undertake a survey to see what the next step would be, it's going to cost us in excess of £6,000. And that's just for a survey to say what can be done. We've already spent £15,000 on it. I just really would like to know what members think. So we did also talk about arranging a public consultation event to make sure that we have public support in whatever is decided.
And there's also one, proceed with evaluation of the land in a step towards possible, and I underline possible, sale of the garden.
That we would need to rescind.
And before we can go into any of those, if we're thinking about that step, we have to rescind that minute from 9th of May, full council meeting, item number 079/18. So, if we're thinking about going down any of those 3 lines, we must rescind that minute first. Councillor Wilkie.
I haven't had time to look back at that minute. It would be useful to get a review.
Do you want me to read it out?
Yeah, please, if you've got it now. I thought you were.
Queen Street Garden, following a request from the members of the Property Committee that the full council should discuss options for the future of this site, the clerk has prepared a document setting out the 4 possible options, would be in number 1, sale of the site, 2, sale of part of the site, 3, retain and do not open to the public, or 4, retain and open to the public. Following discussion, Councillor Bosom was proposed and seconded by Councillor Casey that the Town Council should proceed on the basis of option 4, retain and open to the public.
That was the minute.
And is it open to the public?
No, and not likely to be until, through your chair, until considerable work has been done.
It's all against health and safety at the moment, Kevin. It's all been closed down. Councillor Meek.
No.
If you go along the lines of completely reopen it to the public, you will finish up with no garden whatsoever, due to the fact you'd have to put well, got no disrespect to anybody with any disabilities before I say anything, that it would have to be a slope, and the slope can only be at 17%, and it's got to be wide enough, and you just finish up with a slope and no garden. And for the amount of money it's going to cost, in my mind, I've got 6 figures, and I don't think it's worth it. As I proposed, without second it, we should sell it. You're going to spend, at the moment you spend 21,000, is it, at the moment?
Well, I've
That
Will you
near
try
enough.
to put down to 15?
Well, 15. You spent 15 already. You say, 6 figures, can we afford it? I won't go into that. That's up for debate later. And we'll just say you get 25,000 for it. You've lost all your responsibility for it. To me, it's going to cost far too much to put back as it was.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Meek. Councillor Wilkie for that.
Can I come back then? So I was saying that the work that's been done so far hasn't rectified all the problems, and that if we were to open to the public, we would be obliged to put ramps down as an obligation, a legal obligation.
Yes, through you, Chair.
Sorry, I'm not
Yeah,
fully
but,
aware.
in order to, it needs an additional wall to stop the slippage, so that would be in the region of 30 to 40,000. That's without doing any of the other work.
Yeah.
So that is just the basic.
That's on top of, sorry, that's on top of the survey.
Yeah.
So you're talking 40 then?
It says the cost of completing the full resolution has not been fully made available. The indication is that the cost of full accessibility would be between 150,000 and 300,000.
Altogether. Councillor Holdenbank. Sorry.
Are you, sorry?
Councillor Shackleton.
Have you been waiting?
Got your name down, yeah.
Since I walked through the door. Yeah, it would appear that the main problem with Queen Street Gardens has been resolved. For members that aren't aware, the main water was water seepage into the ground, possibly causing a landslip. We've spent various amounts of money over the past. I think the figure of 14,000 is a little bit light, because at the beginning we did pay a consultant to come in and try and tell us what we needed doing, and that didn't work very well. And then I think we paid a little bit more to Borough for exploratory work and to Pete Gibson. I don't know whether that's all included in that final figure, so it has actually cost us more than 14. But I've always said that it is an asset, it's Queen Street Gardens, and once that asset is sold, it's gone. Yes, you're left with up to bottom money, but the actual asset is gone. So it's going to be a big decision to sell that piece of land, and no doubt it will upset a lot of people in Fireley if we do sell it, because that is a wonderful view, and for a developer to come along and pop a building on there, it would be criminal, and I think we'd get one bastard right out of the chamber, to be honest.
Okay, thank you for that, Councillor Holdenbank.
Well, Councillor Shackleton's, the latter end of his conversation is just basically what I was going to say, is that I think as a council we should keep it, we should not have it open to the public, we should maintain it, we should keep the view, we should not sell the land, because somebody will buy on it and put something on their houses and flats. There is walkways to the right of it anyway, so you can get down and you can sit at the quiet where the old fishermen used to sit, and you have a beautiful view. I'm not too sure who maintains it now. But it hasn't been eligible to walk down for at least a decade. So
it's the actual garden.
Yeah, the actual garden. Yeah. So I think a lot of people that are new to Fireley wouldn't be aware that it was available to be used anyway. But if we keep it in our portfolio, we have it if we ever need anything in the future. I don't think we should sell it. But I don't think that we should spend money on doing anything else with it either, apart from keeping it upkeep of it.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
Right, it's Councillor Wilkie first, then Councillor Shackleton, then Councillor Anthony.
Well, mine was short because that was exactly, I said, why haven't we got an option to keep it closed and just
We have,
maintain it? So that,
number 3. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong page.
That was the old minute, wasn't it?
proceed with the valuation under the full service, or arrange public consultation, there's nothing there, there's an option to keep it open and, keep it closed, but keep it.
Yeah.
So that would be my preferred. I'm exactly the same. I don't think we should sell it, but I don't think we should spend a load of money on it either. So that would be my option if it's
Can I just bring the clerk in at this point and then...
Just to give a flavour of what
information.
that will require us to do. From my understanding from the surveyor, they would need to do a survey, and that really is to establish whether the work or what effect the work that we've done has actually achieved. Because at this moment in time, I don't really know what it's achieved, and the work that we did was fundamentally to get rid of the water. What wasn't done at the time was to establish the subterranean makeup of the soil, etc. that's there, and therefore what it would be required to prevent it potentially from slipping down the slope. So the outline of making it safe would be around about the 30,000 to 40,000 pounds worth of cost, and on top of that we probably need to add some contingency for new railings, etc., to prevent access to it, because we must be saying, making sure that it's not accessible to the public, because it wouldn't be safe.
So why haven't we put some railings up now? Why have we got all this time?
We've got railings up there at the moment, but they're just not permanent.
So we're saying that the money that you're proposing, let's say 30 to 40,000, would be just to make it safe and keep it closed?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, that's a lot of money, isn't it?
So how have we gone ahead with doing some work, not knowing that would fix the problem? I don't get that.
No.
Councillor Shackleton.
I've been in on this problem for many years, and it's been an ongoing thing. I mean, been clerk after clerk after clerk after clerk trying to solve this problem. But as I said earlier, Kevin, the main problem was water seepage, and so we had all this work done, hoping that we could control that water seepage.
But we never knew whether it would
stop a possible conflict. No, it was the best option we had at the time to go ahead with this work. Obviously, we have to stop that water.
Totally agree. I'm just flabbergasted. Sorry, through you. I'm just flabbergasted at the amount of money it's going to cost to just to leave it shut. So, all these years it could have been slipping away, and we've not.
And it was.
Well, I know it was, but I mean, since that work's done,
I believe Phil Gibson did some walls below that wall, and he found what I suppose you could call liquid soil underneath, down to a depth of just over a metre, I believe.
It's all built up soil underneath that turf and that water path and all that. It's all like footings that's been dug out and put in there from the houses that's been built near around and that. You can tell that when it was actually, the holes were bored and it was pulled out.
I believe the Borough Council is still monitoring that.
I think they are actually.
When did they do the last monitoring of it?
I haven't seen any results recently.
So we don't know whether they've been in the last 12 months then?
No.
Well, we set them on to do this. We paid good money for this, so I think we need some results from them.
Yeah, can we go down that line in asking if they're still monitoring this? Find out that. Yeah. The other thing is the actual footpath where all the seats are above there. It's piled halfway across there, right, with deep trench piles, close pile base, and that has actually stopped the water coming through them, because with them being close piled, they're all locked together. like when they piled them. But from halfway along, and this is where the problem lies, is from there. Now we didn't know whether it was coming from Yorkshire Water, we didn't know whether it was coming for drainage, we didn't know whether it was coming from the roof, rain coming down on the roof. We didn't know at all where it was coming. First of all, we even thought it was a tap that had been left on.
Nobody's going to claim responsibility.
No, even Yorkshire Water walked away from it.
I believe we asked council to look into the third drainage system.
Yeah. So you're more in the picture now on how it's got to this stage. Okay, let me see. Councillor Anthony first and then Councillor Holden Banks.
We're assuming that the council would have to pay this money. I mean, the thing that we haven't talked about is the heritage funding available, which is something that we were thinking about, looking at that.
Well, I believe we've
Well,
got
I was
some cliff money, don't we? Oh, sorry.
Just got me back, haven't you?
Why don't we apply to the borough for some of that funding that they've received millions for?
You can apply.
Spend it elsewhere, so,
There's nothing stopping anybody applying for things like that. Whether you get it or not is two different things. But if you don't apply, you don't get. Simple as that.
I should imagine borough's got money sat in the bank for cliff erosion. We call this cliff erosion.
Councillor Holden Banks.
I was just going to agree with Councillor Anthony that there is grants that we can apply for, there's different routes that we can look at, and also in agreement with Councillor Wilkie is that I still don't understand how, well, I know you've all explained it to me, but if we were to sell that piece of land, they would have the same issues as people that bought it. I said no, so yes, for next to nothing because of the issues that come with it. But I don't know how many different areas that we've looked into getting this valuation or this 6,000 or how far afield we've gone, or put out bids or whatever you would like to call it for people to come and give us some prices for it. I mean, it might be worthwhile to see how much it is worth. Not to sell it, just so that we would know as a council what we've got. I still go forward with, I would like to propose that we don't sell it and we have a discussion about what we do next, but do not sell it, to be put forward, please.
Well, before you start proposing, you've got to rescind that minute.
Oh, well, I rescind it then, please.
Simple as that.
This is an agenda item for a special meeting, Chair.
It is, really. It's big, it isn't a small thing.
A special meeting, this one item.
Now, I'll put it to the council now. Would you like me to call the special meeting on this, or not?
Well, I think it needs some,
I'll propose a special meeting for it,
Right, I will call a special meeting then. But before we do anything else, at this point I move Standing Order 3E and adjourn the meeting to allow Councillor Cockrell to give us some more comments on it.
Not comments, Chairman, information.
Information.
The gardens have been in the ownership of the town council since I think it was 1988. I think I was the only one here besides Maureen who was there at the time. And the reason why the town council bought it was because, in a way, it's like it is now. Overgrown, unkempt, and it was a disgrace. And the suggestion was put to the council to buy it and to get it tidied up and make it something that families could be proud of. Regarding some of the comments that have been made, Scarborough Borough Council does get money for various projects from the Environment Agency, but they are project specific. We don't get the money up front, we call it down as it's spent, so it isn't earning interest or anything. The Environment Agency has a formula by which it decides the amount of grant, and the main thing that gets that is the number of properties at risk. So I would suggest there's very little chance of getting any year in.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Cockrell. I will now end the adjournment and only members of the council may speak. So we'll call a special meeting on this then. You've all voted on it, Councillor Meek.
One thing I'd like to say as well is that there is only this one item on the special meeting, where in the past there's been items added.
There will be no items added to this, this meeting. This meeting, a special meeting, will be for this and this alone. Do you got that? Thank you. Councillor Castleton.
Yeah, I see nothing to stop Councillor Alan Anthony's proposal to rescind this minute.
No, I don't see any reason for that at this moment.
Do it today.
Yeah. If you want to move that, Councillor Anthony,
Yes.
and somebody second it for you,
Still have to be rescinded, isn't it?
to rescind that minute that I read out before, it's number 079/18. Okay? And we can do this because it's 6 months gone. Okay, all those in favour of that? Okay. Alright, Councillor Anthony on that one?
Yes, thank you.
Right, thank you. C. Council to receive reports from members of meetings, local and local organisations. Could councillors please indicate who wishes to speak and the organisation covered? Councillor Holden Banks.
I would like to speak about by the Tourism Association and Chamber of Trade, and I'm sorry I haven't put a written one in, but the meeting was on Thursday. So basically,
Can I just jump in here and say, please do not mention any names, because it's GBB and
can't I even mention names of things that are in the public domain?
unless you have had permission from those to do it in writing,
So I've got something
because
on the
it comes
internet and I
under
can't
the
read it out.
GDPR. I'm sorry, but it does. I've had advice.
Yeah, they will say something.
Right, Councillor Holden Banks.
Yes.
The clerk has just come in, it's told me it's only individuals that you can't speak, say the name. Not
If it's an activity or an event, then you can speak.
Well, when
which is
I
right.
come to it, I'll ask you if I can speak about it then, because I'm a bit confused.
No, it's very confusing, it really is.
Well, after all that, it's not that interesting. Yeah, I know. So, Finance Tourism Association and Chamber of Trade had a joint meeting together. This was with a view to the two groups amalgamating together. We're having not a private meeting at all, we're having two people out of each group are going to come together the 21st to try and get a package together that both the groups will be happy with. So that's as far as we're going with that. The majority of the time spent was discussing about this Yorkshire Coast bid. I don't know if you've all heard of this, it was on the news. So this was discussed at great length. A lady, can I say the lady's name that came to talk about it?
Yes, you can, because she's already spoken about it.
Kerry Catherwood came with James Hodge with some...
Somebody else.
Yeah, with somebody else to present this to the businesses of Filey. It was a very robust meeting. It was very highly charged. You had to be over 12,000 a year to be able to have a bid. So it affects. See, I find it's really difficult not being able to say people's names. I need to say things like, Ralph Dixon, Corrigan, Well, they've got all the big businesses. If they pay over 12,000 a year, they will be able to bid on this. Anybody under 12,000, business rates can't bid on it. The upshot of it all is it goes right along the coast, and if the majority bid for it, you're in it whether you want to be in it or not. I asked quite a few questions because this Mr. Aswad, who is the consultation person for these, has several of these bids going up and down the coast and in Harrogate and on the west coast. My concern was about the money making. I will happily show you all this because you can all view for yourself. But there is a bid board here, which you have your chair. You've got two from Whitby, two from Scarborough, one from Filey, one from Hornsey, one from Withersea, two from Bidlington and one from Coastal Villages. And then that's your 10 independent business representatives, and you've got 3 national business representatives, and then you've got Scarborough Borough Council, East Riding of Yorkshire Council, North Yorkshire Council, North Yorkshire Moors and the police. But you can all have a good look at this with pleasure. I actually brought up quite a few questions about this, because when you start looking at the Yorkshire Coast bid forecast, it says here, bid employees including office and support, they want 113,000 a year to be able to afford to run it. So, therefore, I was very much a pain to this woman who came to present it, asking all these questions, because then I downloaded off the internet the Yorkshire Coast Business Improvement District, which is the bid project manager full-time is 35,000, the bid project administrator is 20,000, so that gives you 55,000, still 60,000 in the ESOP somewhere. When I look at the bottom of all this, and who is advertising all this out but Mr. Mo Aswat, the Mosaic Partnership, who runs the groups. So it caused an awful lot of issues. I also asked a lot of these questions because there was a lot of people had sent a lot of emails regarding this Mosaic Partnership. Kerry, the lady who did the presentation, representing the Mosaic Partnership, consultancy involved in setting up the Yorkshire Coast Bid, told the committee that firms in the retail, leisure, accommodation or food and drink sectors with rates below over 12,000 or more would automatically be subject to the levy. I have the levy percentages here if anybody wants to look at them. So a firm with a rateable value of 12,000 or more would pay 1.5 of that value, which is £180 a year for 5 years, alongside the business rates that, that's already set. These are from Redcar and everywhere else that I've been in them. This is for a 5-year period, and it can be voted to opt in or opt out again. The main concerns from a lot of the people who were at these groups were that if you get somebody that's at 15,000 a year, so if you have 12,000 rateable, the annual levy is £180 a year. If you pay 20, it's 300, 30, it's 450. And 50,000 would be 750. So if you've got a rateable value of 50,000, 750 isn't an amount to eat, but for a small independent business at 180 on top of what they're already paying, whether they want to be in it or not, they are bumped into it. The biggest concern across the board seems to be you had 20,000 a year to spend in Filey, but you couldn't totally spend it in Filey because you had to go to this board that I showed you at the beginning and present what you wanted to spend your money on in your area. So that wasn't all what it seemed to be on the first presentation that was done. I come under it, so I don't have this concern. Personally, I don't particularly think it's a very good idea. I don't think you've got a lot of control over what happens, even though it was very well presented. But once you signed up to this is you signed up for 5 years, and you don't actually you do have a say where your money goes. But if somebody from Whitby wants to spend more of their money in Whitby than you do in Filey, you have to put your bid forward and work for it. You don't automatically get your money. And you tell me what we're going to do with 20,000. And the other thing, which I found to be quite insulting, and I spoke very highly for Filey Council on this, I'd like you all to know, in a very protective mode of what they said that they would do for Filey, which I think we already do at a huge level with independent groups and the council itself, is that the bid will work with businesses to brighten access points in Filey, ensure that bid businesses are aware of how to access up-to-date information about up-and-coming events in Filey, work with partners to create outdoor itineraries and embrace its natural surroundings, work with the community to develop a new or support an existing event key to the area. Like the Turn of the Dragon, I can't even think of one off my head. Improve visitor information at key access points in Filey railway station and promote Filey's heritage. Well, I feel we're already achieving that at a very good level. Some of you are the ones who put better bids than that we've put in. But anyway, that's basically what that's all about. So it ends the end of this month, the bids will be in and we'll be notified. I do know that Whitby Council have voted against taking this on. We don't have a bid as a council because we don't actually have any business. That Whitby's got the art they have to say on. Tesco's would have to pay some money into this. I did ask about Primrose Valley, and the lady said off the top of her head she thinks that they would put into it possibly about £1,500 to £2,000 a year. Well, you look at how big Primrose Valley is, Blue Dolphin, anywhere else that you like, it's not an awful lot of money for them to put in. But please take this, have a look at it. Whitby's getting 352,500, Scarborough's getting 1 million. Well, they're not getting it, it's what their revenue of their own businesses are putting into it that addresses this money. Filey Fund is 1,170, so I think the idea there's 5 million being spent up and down the coast is a bit of a wrong attitude towards it. It's your own money you're spending because it's your own tax that you're paying back into it. You know, they're not giving us 5 million. We are paying someone to manage this for us. But, you know, some people think it's a wonderful idea. I hope I'm proven wrong and I hope it's a success. So that was a big discussion point. The other discussion point was James Hodgson, can I say that? I've said it now. Inform members that the White Lodge Hotel will be hosting a presentation regarding the alleged findings of Bonham Richard by the company involved Merlin Burrows on the 7th of the 12th, 2018. There's a group there, I think possibly Councillor Anthony knows a bit more about that than I do. That's all I know about that Bonham Richard. You sent me some information, didn't you? But there's going to be a big talk about that, and they want particular groups to get involved, and I'm sure they want council to get involved at some stage or other. So besides all of that, the last bit I'd like to say is that I attended Scarborough Borough Council a week last Monday when some walked out to support a councillor on their return to the council, and I found this to be quite an amazing area to be in, having not been before. Hence, that's the end of my report. So anybody got any questions?
Right, thank you very much.
Have I exhausted you all?
Right, thank you very much for that. Councillor Shackleton.
Yes, I have a report, Chair.
Anthony, sorry.
Sorry, can I just respond?
Sorry.
Sorry?
Do you want to say anything, Councillor?
No, thank you.
Right, Councillor Shackleton.
Yeah, sorry, Chair. I just want to respond to those reports, if I can.
Pardon?
I just want to respond to those reports.
All right, no, that's fine. Okay, Councillor Wilkie.
You answered most of my questions and about Whitby, voting no, etc. But I'm just wondering if it gets voted as a yes, we don't have a choice in that. The businesses in this town don't have a choice in that. Is that right?
That's correct. If it gets voted yes by Scarborough and Hornsey and finally votes no, the majority of the highest paying band, if there's more than 50% vote for it, it will go through. So if the majority of Scarborough businesses vote for it and the majority finally don't, but in the top bracket, then they will go through and you'll get it. Because it's such a huge coastline. It's Redcar, Hornsey, Bridlington, it's humongous.
So the money that we pay, we might not see, but we might see.
You're supposed to get 20 or 25.
There's some sort of guarantee.
Yes. But you have to go and bid. I'll put your point of view how you would like it spent.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anybody from the other areas would disagree with you. They probably won't care what Whitby's doing to what Hornsey's doing, but you still have to make it a...
It just doesn't seem right about it.
Well, Mr. Mozart has got loads of it. Oh, it might be wonderful, I say. I hope I'm wrong. I mean, this company, Mr. Moat's company who's done all this.
Take the money out of the...
No, he gets paid a consultancy fee. Sorry, he gets paid he's a consultant, is Mr. Moat's He gets paid a consultancy fee. And in his consultancy fee, he's presenting this, so he wants this, what I've just quoted you here, for what they're paying for the administration, is coming out of the money that the companies or the businesses are paying in, the percentage, to pay for them to manage all the activities or whatever it is that each area feels that they need to bid on.
It's called good work if you can get it.
But have a look at it. I mean, that's just my take on it. I mean, there's people you can talk to on here and ring further, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's
Sorry, through your chair, I think the problem is that we're
Janet
not getting a
Deacon
say in
is part of
it.
council.
We're not getting a real say in it.
No.
It's not a real say, no. You get a say.
Well, we don't, whether it goes ahead or not.
But the team bid is this Mo Aswad at the bottom here, and Kerry Grunston, or how you pronounce her surname, is a bid, bid project manager. She came and did the actual presentation, and Emily Stevens. So these two have got the money that I can account for, so... And then the stakeholders are Janet Deacon, Scarborough Borough Council, Andy Gray, East Riding, Yorkshire, Mark Kibblesthwaite, North Yorkshire County Council, and Richard Gunston, North Yorkshire Moors. And then you've got your task groups. But I don't know who put these people in place. They were already in place when the bid came through. I think 99 of these good ideas up and down the country there is Councillor Shackleton.
This is just such a massive area.
Right,
Sorry, Chair.
is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Because time's going on now. Councillor Shackleton and then Councillor
Along with Councillor Meekus, Councillor Reps, we both attended the Firelake Bowling Club AGM, which was very well attended by members. They've had a reasonably good year, not team-wise, but individually, and the two members have appeared in regional finals. And we also had an international game, England ladies versus, I can't remember who we said, but apparently they had a very good day. Unfortunately, the Borough Council has stepped in and decided to raise their rent this year by £100, which for a small club like Firelake, you know, it's quite a lot. I believe that it comes at no cost to the Borough Council, as do our allotments to the borough, but obviously for no reason they raise their rent, which I think they feel quite disappointed with. That's it. So we're looking forward to next year. They hope to get the green in good condition, and we wish them all the best for next year.
Thank you very much for that, Councillor Shackleton. Councillor Holden-Barnes.
It's a question to Councillor Shackleton actually. Has they given a reason why they put the rent up?
Well, it's a young lady that's been around and measured everything up and decided to raise it up. Because they've done a check on their assets here. Obviously they're commercialising all their assets, I believe. So they've put the rent up.
Okay. Any more questions of Councillor Shackleton? No. Is there any more reports, please? Councillor Wright.
We should have had a meeting for the lighting, and just to inform you, we didn't, because I didn't know about it. I'm only chairman. But just to say, the lights are up. They're going to be lit on Friday. We have to ask them to hold that lighting up before the Armistice Day. So they will be lit on Friday, and the problem in Hope Street is hopefully resolved.
Oh, good.
Well, I hope so. That's all I can say. Till the lights go on, I have had the promise. I went with to see them and everything to be okay.
Councillor Shackleton.
Just moving on from there, I've noticed the Christmas trees up at the bus station.
Yes.
So thank you to the board for that.
Everything else is on track, I think, for Christmas trimming too.
Right, thank you very much for that. Is there any more reports, please? No? Yes, Councillor Anthony?
Just to say, because of illnesses, I wasn't able to attend the AGM of Discover Filey on Monday, but I understand that the board were re-elected en masse and then took the decision to wind up Discover Filey.
Okay.
I think that's very sad.
It
We
is.
put an awful lot of work into that. Very, very sad that.
Councillor Cockle wants to come in, so at this point I must move standing order 3E and adjourn the meeting so Councillor Cockle can speak. Councillor Cockle.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just on the Discover Filey, I was at that meeting, and yes, as Councillor Anthony reported, the elected the committee to the board to wind it up. The assets will be disposed of in line with the Constitution. So there is some funding which would be available to similar organisations, and also some of the assets, the items, the wigwams and binoculars, they're going to be open for bids for different organisations. It is a very sad thing, but I did assure them that the work that they've done, I will carry that forward, particularly to do with the Discovery Centre in the discussions at the Borough Council when we're looking at improvements, enhancements to the country park.
No.
So a lot of the work that they've done will not be lost.
Thank you for that, Councillor Cockle. Councillor Wright.
Before things go ahead though on there, I mean, there's been rumours about taking the play area away, building on there, and all that's come by the board. I know it has.
Absolutely.
A load of rubbish.
A load of rubbish.
Okay. But anything else, and where and when and everything's happening, will Bywley Town Council be informed
Yes.
beforehand?
I was in line with
Thank
the
you.
memorandum of understanding, and that's why Stuart Clark and myself came the other month
Yes.
to talk about the glamping. You know, that's
Yes.
short term.
Yes.
Anything else is a bit longer term, but certainly the town council will be kept informed.
Could I ask about the fish ban, whatever, fish and chip ban? Has any progress been made on that?
Pass. Sorry, don't know anything about it.
I know what you mean.
Well, I was told that there was supposed to be a bid for a fish and chip ban on Country Park.
I'll just bring the council.
Yeah, you're right, Councillor, right. The information was brought to us that there was an advert gone out for a catering truck in Country Park, the timing of which it would be there would be outside of the opening hours of the current cafe. It would be more than likely something like a fish and chip bar, and that's what the advert had gone out for tenders for that particular facility.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councillor
I
Shackleton.
believe Stuart Clark has apologised to the council for not mentioning it at the meeting we had over.
Right. Thank you for that. Any more questions for Councillor Cocker while he can speak? I'm going to get that in, mate. I'm not doing it again. No?
No.
No, right. Thank you very much. I will now end the adjournment and only members of the council may speak. Right, is there any more councillors wish to speak on organisations covered? No? Right, thank you very much. We'll move on to number 10 now. Schedule of payments. Do any members wish to make a comment or ask us a question about the schedule? Councillor Meek.
General Fund, Dave Communications, £92.31. Have we looked in to see if we can get just a telephone system, I take Daisy's with?
Yes.
Have we looked in to see if we can get it cheaper anywhere else?
We tied, as we said at the last thing, we tied into a contract for a period of time. When that comes up, we will of course look for the most cost-effective method of providing the service.
Yeah, it couldn't have run out at the same time as the broadband?
No, it was decided prior to the beginning of the year that the broadband would change to BT, but it was decided that the telephone contract would remain with Daisy at the time.
Councillor Shackleton.
I'd just like to add, Chair, that it is common practice for the clerk to investigate cheaper options as and when any contract expires, whether it be gas, electric, telephone, broadband.
Right. Okay. Then Councillor Wilkie.
Just wondered how the clerk found the GDPR training.
One word. Confusing.
I wish he'd never found it. To be honest.
A lot of women to be paid to be confused. It's hard, isn't it?
It's very hard. I've gone through some of this with YLCA and Vigo, I'll tell you what. Mind blowing.
I think the major difficulty, Councillor Wilkie, is that there are so many things that are in contradiction. That there are things which require us to be transparent, but equally there are things that prevent us from being transparent. So it can be very contradictory.
Okay?
Yeah.
Councillor Holden.
I was just going to say to the clerk that I think all your training is focused on me, because every time I go to speak, you say, you can't say that. Well, you say to anybody else.
No.
So I hope I've helped your training. I was just
Councillor Shackleton.
To move on, Chair, I'd like to move this payment.
Yes, all those in favour of this? Right, thank you very much. Right, we'll go on to number 11 now. 3 men, 3 women, a Friday presentation event. The council to consider the details and date of the event. Now this wants to be sooner than later because they've been hanging on for this for quite a while now. They do.
How many are? We're together. We're together. No, we both said the same thing when you said it wasn't how many people
I didn't know that before, then.
Sorry, how it says the date, but how many people are we giving to?
3.
3, thank you.
And it won't be a full thing where they actually give
Oh no,
all it will be is for the chair to hand the medal over for them, right, for a new badge. For a new form on the certificate that I was looking for, and virtually it. So what I would like to suggest is that this is done at the next meeting, so that the Christmas drinks and thing comes into that as well. It'll take about 10 minutes at the most, and there'll be, well, if Kath Wilkie gets up there, I'll be surprised. There'll be David Wilson and
Michael Taylor.
Michael doesn't want to know. No, he doesn't want to know. He doesn't. To be honest, I think he's lost his memory.
Oh,
yeah. He's 80 odd. Come on.
My mum's nearly 90, but.
But this is the thing. Do we have it this next meeting and get it over with and finish with?
Well, if we're excluding Kath Wilkie because we're still here, I don't...
No, I'm not excluding her.
Saying that I can get it from it.
Yes.
She's not well.
That's on the chair, she presses the button.
Yeah, and you have to hold the button on that all the time, haven't you, Marion? But she will be asked. She ain't going to be disregarded, she will be asked. Okay. Councillor Meek.
How about starting half an hour earlier? I've seen these 10 minutes before.
No.
I'm not joking, it will be literally 10 minutes because it's just to hand over a medal and a certificate.
Alright, build up to it.
No, there's no build up or anything like that on this one. Because that's already been and gone.
I'll still suggest 6:30.
Councillor Wilkie and then Councillor Holden.
Yeah, if there's not a lot on the agenda, then fine, but if not, then I think January might be better.
Well, I will ask the clerk not to put too much on the agenda for that night then. Councillor Holden Banks.
I know we're discussing about giving out this new free woman and free... Are we going to continue doing this then? Are we going to have another...
Yes, it will be continual with that,
right.
But it will be the next lot that come up. This is just to replace the medals.
I understand that, yeah.
So the next lot will come up, they'll have to be proposed and seconded and have to give a speech on it.
And have we got better criteria this time for the next lot then?
That is up to the strategic planning.
Right. So,
okay. Councillor Shackleton.
We spoke about many things that I regard minor or aimless this evening for long past the due date, time rather, so I'm sure 10 minutes for a lovely presentation won't go amiss.
Exactly. Is everybody in favour of that?
Yes, in favour.
All those in favour, please rise. Thank you very much, everybody.
First item.
Right. So we go on now, number 12 on the agenda, Trafford Rally. I hope you have all received the grant document below. The council to consider and resolve the request for financial assistance for Trafford Rally 2019 at £3,342.80p for 2019 to hold their event in this town again. Right, now, they do bring a heck of a lot of trade into the town, they really do, don't they?
What did we give
They really do. So, I'll open it to the floor. Councillor Shackleton first and then Councillor Holden Banks.
Thank you, Chair. I asked for this to go on the agenda this evening because there is a level of confusion over this funding. In the past, we have not given a grant to the Trap Road Rally. It's been a figure agreed by this council. So I think this grant application should be ignored and it should go back to this council to decide the level of funding. Now, I have been in contact with Lloyd, and as far as I'm aware, they will be quite happy to receive the exact same funding as they received last year.
Right. I can't remember what that was.
2,500.
Right.
So as I say, there is a level of confusion over that.
Right.
He was misinformed because he was asked to apply for a grant by a fellow councillor. Obviously I won't name because we can't name, but I'll call him Uncle Tom Cobbler. So I did try and swear matters with Lloyd over this and say it probably will be the same format again that this council decide the fund. Obviously as well, it'll have to wait till the new financial year.
Oh yes, that's correct.
But he would like to know ASAP whether we do agree to fund again, so they can obviously organise.
Yeah. Councillor Anthony.
Did we do something in kind last year, like the PA system or something?
I think we just gave them a grant, not a grant, we awarded them 2,500.
Yes, and there were, yes, but one of our councils actually organised a PA system so it could use down the front as well. That's without saying any names.
I can't do this, not saying the name. I know what you're talking about.
Councillor Wilkie.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused when I saw the grant, but now Councillor Shepard's explained that. I think we should just go ahead and, in principle, say same as last year. It was a massive success.
Oh, yes. All the guest houses.
The town was.
All the
there was a different feel to it. That was really just great.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with that.
So Councillor
Advertising was appalling. There were people in town and didn't have a clue what was going on.
Yeah, there's a bit more advertising. Councillor Shackleton.
I'd just like to say about, I'll be brief, about advertising, it is their event, and in some respect, they do have responsibility for making sure they get advertising out there. And I'm sure it's in all the motoring papers. All the motorheads, all the petrol heads will know that it's on.
But it was particularly about our tourists that are coming didn't know about it, so tourism advertised it all.
Well, perhaps tourism, need to get their act together this year.
So, have we got a proposal for this?
Yeah, well, I would propose that.
Right, we've got a seconder. Councillor me. Seconder. Okay. All those in favour of that, please show. 2,500.
So that will be included in obviously next year.
In that, put that in for next year, okay. Right.
And also, Chair, if Councillor Anthony is correct in her assumption that we did, or somebody did that for like it, if that could be arranged as well, or mentioned to Lloyd.
Yeah. Same. That's all. Okay. Right. Number 13 then. Light Up a Line service. The council is reminded that they are invited along with the mayor to a service at 3 p.m. Sunday, December the 2nd at St John's Church, Filey, on behalf of the patients and volunteers and staff of St Catherine's Hospice. So all councillors are invited along to that service as well. Okay? I've been to before and they are quite good.
Can I put my apologies in?
So are you?
I'm on holiday.
Yes, councillor Holden Banks.
I was just going to add mine along with councillor Meeks. I'm in London that weekend.
Right. Does anybody else put apologies in now? Councillor Anthony?
For personal reasons.
Personal. Anybody else?
Tell me, get the date, please.
Yes. Second. Sunday. Okay. In that case, we'll move on then. School financial assistance, Eber Academy. I hope you have all received the letter concerning the request. May I open the item for discussion? Can I bring you in on this one? Councillor Shackleton.
Yeah, Finance were aware of this matter at their last meeting. After much discussion, it was decided that it's not really within the council's remit to do this. My personal view on it is if, you know, these girls want to run this trip, they really should fundraise themselves and get sponsorship money. I know when I was mayor, I personally sponsored one of the girls to go to Mexico. So it can be done, I do know that. But the main point is it within this council's remit, you know, to get money for this cause.
You see, problem is, with it being the top school, I call it that, everybody knows it as that, it isn't just 5 lads and lasses that would be going. There's some from Malton, there's some from all over the place, you see, and this is where the problem comes in. Okay, Councillor Murphy.
I think the request is for local people, isn't it?
It is.
It would be for them, wouldn't it, to go, not for others.
Who knows until they get it.
I think the difficulty is that it is a business, effectively, Ebor Academy. They're asking for the assistance. So from having a power to gain any finance from us, we really haven't got that power to be able to offer them the financial assistance. And from an overall point of view, it doesn't give benefit to the community as a whole. So therefore, we're unable to do it if we reasonably wanted to be able to do it.
The request is from the academy, not from individuals.
And again, the difficulty is in the actual letter itself. It's from the academy, i.e. it's from the teacher at the academy, and we are wanting financial assistance made payable in cheques to that particular person. So that again is a very difficult area to get into. And really we can't do that, full stop.
Okay. So, Councillor Holden Banks.
If the clerk's saying we can't do it, have we just got this for information then, rather than having a debate on it?
It is just some information, yes.
Oh yeah, did we have to not given these any money previously then?
No.
Not the council.
Not the council.
No, so this letter is just for us to look at.
Councillor Shackleton did that off his own.
Oh no, I totally understand that, but what I'm saying about the clerk just saying then that we can't do this, so this letter just for us to look at, you don't want to make...
For information.
Just for it, so there's no vote on it, we're not doing it because we can't do it, so... Right.
Councillor Anthony.
Can I just ask who we gave money to last year then? There's some kids came in and got a cheque.
It wasn't them. Certainly wasn't anybody from them. No. The money that was given out last year.
We did something.
It's
It's a
a
grant
grant.
scheme.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
Football club, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it was just played football club.
Yes, it was fine.
No.
So I stay awake.
Yes, you will.
I'm doing it. Just to say, we used to have a youth foundation.
We did.
And this is the sort of thing that would have applied for it. But even then, we had to have specifics of what they were wanting the money for.
Yeah.
It was either for photography, clothing, things like that. There's never patrol
No.
or anything like that, and not just to spend on other people. It had to be towards a specific. Of course, we did get applications then, so it went by the by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, can I just clarify this one more time, just in case anybody local asks me, the reason now we're not having a discussion about it, well we are, but we're not making a vote on it, is because we can't do it as a council anyway.
No.
Right. Well, so somebody says to me, why aren't you supporting Top School on this? I can say, because it's something the Valley Council cannot do. Is that the right? Right, that's fine, as long as I know what I'm saying.
Correct. Councillor Shackleton, then Councillor Wilkie. If he wants to speak.
Nothing at all to stop this council giving some money to these young girls, but that will be down to individual members.
Yeah.
And we could all throw £20 into a pot, and there's also the Christmas card collection. You know, if members felt strong enough, that can be done, but as a council, I hope it's been explained sufficiently.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Okay, can we move on then on that one, please? Number 15. Plastic Free Council. Councillor Anthony.
I asked for this to be put on the agenda due to the interest in Farley at the moment. We've had Surface Against Sewage, although not a Farley organisation, that do regular beach cleans. We've got our own beach clean people. We've got a new social media site called Plastic Free Farley, which is about encouraging various groups to cut down on their plastic use, particularly single-use plastic, which thankfully we don't use much as a council. And I just wanted the council to be aware of this and perhaps to consider that we might work towards being a plastic-free council. I don't think it would be too onerous for us, because I think, as I say, we don't use a lot of single-use plastic and things like that. So I was hoping it's something that we could consider
in the future.
Well,
Instant.
Kevin?
It's an easy one for me. I think we should just get on with it.
Councillor Shackleton?
We've all seen that. We've all seen that TV programme.
Yes.
Expertly presented by Mr. Steffenberg about plastics. You know, it is a good thing, but you know, we need to get the traders in the town involved as well. You know, get rid of plastic straws. What's wrong with paper? And a lot of the packaging, fish and chip packaging and things like that. You know, it's not just us as a council.
We could encourage
It's everybody in the town. We need to encourage as Councillor Wilkes.
Councillor Holland Banks?
I think if we lead by example, by being a council that's plastic free, and then hopefully, as you both quite rightly said, speak to Chamber of Trade and Smiling Tourism and, you know, present that to them, and hopefully, I know a lot already are on board, and personally myself know plastic bags, know there's another lot of traders that are all using paper bags and stuff, so it's already very much, and I think it'd be a good thing to put on our website, plastic free, you know, I think it'd be good forward thinking advertising, and it's just a no-brainer really. It's something we should be, especially being at the coast and all the beautiful stuff and the rewards keep winning. It's the right thing to do.
Exactly. Councillor Anthony and then Councillor Reid.
Has everybody seen the information that got sent out? So everybody's aware of what I'm talking about. It suggests on there that we table a motion to propose the town becomes a plastic-free council and supports plastic-free communities in the area, which would mean supporting groups. And I'd be quite happy to take a lead on that.
Councillor Reid?
We'll vote you in.
Time's getting on now, come on councillors. Councillor Reid?
As a council, thinking about it, I think only plastic we could actually get away and do away with is buying milking.
What?
Because plastic bottles, that's all that we...
Well,
Otherwise, I can't think of anything else that we get or use in this council that you can do away with. No plastic.
through you, Chair, I think you'd be surprised
Just what?
at how much single-use plastic will come through these offices. You'll be amazed. You won't believe it. I've started looking at it on a personal level, and I cannot believe how much single-use plastic. I'm not talking about recyclable, we're talking about single-use plastic. Oh, Chair.
Okay.
So can I move
Yes, yeah.
that Finley Town Council becomes a plastic-free council and supports plastic-free communities in the area? And I'll second that.
Okay, we've got a proposer and a seconder for that.
Yeah.
All those in favour, please. Are you, Councillor Shackleton?
Yeah, I'm in favour, but I think, you know, the proposal should be that this council strives to become, not is. Not at the moment, not where it should be. Where it should be strived to become a plastic.
Is that your amendment?
No, I've not made an amendment. Thinking of something to say, Councillor Anthony, but no, I'm for it.
I'm sure the clerk can work through it.
Okay, that's that one. Okay. 16. Piney Festival.
Yeah.
Item requested by Councillor Roderick. Could I please bring to your attention that information received from YLCA is that the council is not responsible in any way for the actions of outside organisations. Could I request Councillor Roderick to give a brief background statement?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the council other than we have actually funded it in the past. The only reason I got involved with this because somebody told me that it had an AGM and that nobody had been to it basically. Probably because nobody really knew because they only put it on Facebook. I did go and see the two directors involved to find out basically what was the decision, what had gone on. And I was not particularly pleased for the simple reason that it transpired that 2 days before the meeting they had the same directors set up a private company to do exactly the same thing. And the conversation went along the lines of, because I asked what money have you got left, thinking perhaps that bearing in mind what you've gone through the summer, some of it might have been ours, is what I'm concerned about, because if you hadn't spent it, we want it back. I was told that they were going to put it into an account in both the joint names and they would decide what they were going to do with it at a future date. And this is the bit that triggered me into looking at it seriously because the memorandum and article association set up by the same director of the council at the time does dictate that they should have 3 directors. They did not have 3 directors, they only had 2 directors, and for a considerable period last year they only had 1. In other words, decisions were being made by people who legally were not responsible, and this worried me. In particularly the shambles that it turned out to be this year because of the weather and what have you. I know I spoke to the clerk about this because he knew I've got concerns, didn't you, James? I mean, he supposed to present them. And I wasn't. It worries me that things like this go off and that we don't seem to realise that it is happening. And by default, if you like, we're getting dragged in it. Or that's what we're going to do with us. People take the view that, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. How this finishes off, I cannot say. It is now out of my hands and into somebody else's. And quite how it's going to end up, I just don't know, because it would seem that in 2 instances they were seriously out of order in the decisions that they took.
Right.
But as I say, I was concerned about if I can get our money back. Because you had to spend it right, you know. Yeah. Well, truth be told, that they didn't know where the end of the end, but I came away with.
Right. Right, Councillor Roderick, what would you like to put forward on this?
Nothing, I just want this noted for future reference, that one of the things that seemed to happen, and you can correct me if it's wrong here, John, because you're on that committee, that we have not been asking for things like constitutions, accounts and all that have not been requested. And the other thing was that...
No, did you read my reply?
Yes, I did that on board, right. And were we in the habit of asking how they had spent their money? Did we ask for
That's
it?
always on the application form, what they wish
And
to
do we
do.
check up that they've done it?
Well, usually,
don't get
it's a bit difficult with festivals, but usually we do ask for a receipt
Yeah.
for payment, but obviously on a festival, if they wanted it for promotion or to pay a band, it's somewhat difficult.
It's somewhat difficult, yeah.
Have to trust the people.
Yeah.
Well, this would be the general idea of it, but, you know, I do sometimes wonder if people do, if you like, push it a bit and take a bit of advantage, because they think, yourself.
Councillor Wright.
In what respect?
Councillor
You first, sorry.
Go on.
You need a flag, John.
I was going to say, in what respect? I mean, people do things in this town voluntarily, with all good intentions, with good people, giving their time, hundreds of hours of their time, and a lot of the time out of their own pocket as well, I may say. And I do object to this, you know, trying to nitpick about things, and they had a lot of disappointment this year, and they had a lot of things to pay for that never actually happened.
This is true, and I know that for a fact.
But why are you being
Because I am saying that in this particular instance, there was a legal question as to whether or not they could actually do what they did. And actually they could not. They needed you. After you resigned, they were direct to show and they never got anybody else. And they should have had the three. It is quite important that it's done that way, but that's not it up. And they didn't do it, and that was it. And that's what worried me. And as I say, knowing had they spent the money that we gave, more like it wasn't a lot, but did they or didn't they not spend it? And it seems to be that they didn't actually know that they hadn't. I left it at that point. I am not pointing fingers at anybody. I'm making a statement here that if people are going to apply for funding, and this is what I asked you, John, if they're going to apply for funding, then we have a perfect legitimate right to know that they can A, legally do what they set out to do, and B, they've got a bank account they can pay it into. If that makes any sense to you.
Councillor Shackleton first, and then Councillor Anthony.
Yeah, just firstly I'd like to correct something there. It's not our money, it's actually public money. So we do need to be accountable for this money in some respect. Going on to, to people that chit-chat in the street, say they should have done this, they should have done that. Well, quite frankly, I just don't have any time for them people at all. Because it's the people, as Councillor Wright said, that get out there and get their hands dirty and do things, instead of sitting back and saying, well, that would have pulled who wanted. But, when they weren't prepared to get involved. That's my second rant this evening, Chair.
Right, thank you very much for that,
To try and bring it to some sort of conclusion, may I suggest that we write to the director, who I know very well, and I trust him, explicitly. I think perhaps the council should write and just ask for an explanation or an update on the situation regarding funds or funds that they've got left. Was the council's money spent? Or should I say, was public money spent?
Well, just before we decide on that, can I bring Councillor...
No, that's said what I wanted to say.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And that clears matters up. Wonderful, isn't it? Get an explanation.
So we've got a proposal from Councillor Shackleton, seconded Councillor Meek. All those in favour of writing, the clerk writing and for an explanation.
I mean, it doesn't have to be heavy-handed, Chair. It's just,
Yeah.
just so we know what.
Yeah.
And then we can, say to anybody that mentions it, well, on the back.
Exactly.
As long as we know what's going on.
Yeah, because it's the councillors that's in the front line on the street. It really is. I know I don't go more than 10 yards down the street and I'm stopped.
You've only to look on Facebook, Chair, at all the dribble that's on.
Oh, I don't bother with Facebook. I don't bother with Facebook anymore. No. I know there's a lot of it goes on in that bed.
I abstained there, by the way. I abstained there, by the way.
Right. Councillor Anthony abstained from that, so although, can we have a vote again now, hands up to make sure on this one? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of us, Councillor Anthony. Okay? Right. We'll move on now to number 17 on the agenda. Date and time of next meeting. Please could council confirm the date and time of the next meeting as Wednesday the 14th of 12th of December, and here's the mystery.
Jeff's point.
Can I just ask the councillors, before I close the meeting, do we need to start this next meeting half an